BBC Radio Scotland.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Ashley Storrie on BBC Radio Scotland, live from Pacific Way, joined, as always, by sidekick Silent Paul, who, according to listeners of Radio 5, is a dreamboat, or sounds like a dreamboat. Didn't they say that, Paul? Didn't they?
Yeah, they've never seen me, so they don't know if I'm actually a dreamboat.
You sound like a dreamboat. Like, there's people who have handsome voices. Don't you think?
I'd like to hope I was the whole package.
You've got a handsome voice. Spin's been in touch and says...
Got a full head of hair and all my own teeth. That counts for a lot.
Very tall hair, which is thick and lush. All your own teeth. A love of a plain jumper. I don't know if that's something you're into. Then you got a love of a plain jumper.
See, for a lady, if you're not that I'm in the market, because I'm taken, happily spoken for,
Yes.
but I'm never going to outshine you.
No, you're never going to outshine anybody. No, that's mean. He does outshine people. People always comment on your hair. Did Jackie Bird not once say that's tall hair?
How do you get it to stay up like that?
That's something. Jackie Bird was entranced.
I get asked that question quite a lot.
It just, and the answer is, it just
And I
grows
say,
up
I
the way.
listen to Rhinestone Cowboy and it helps.
But it just grows up the way, doesn't it?
Just grows up the way now.
There we go. Spin's been in touch and says, I do not have a favourite movie song in mind. If I had one, it would be Summer Nights by John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John from the 1978 film
Fine, I'll get
Grease.
it in. I'll get it in soon.
And Angel the Trucker, I think, has also requested Summer Nights from Greece. So we'll see if we can fit it in Angel the Trucker, because I can't say no to everything. And we can now talk about Brookside being streamed on the STV player, because news talks about it.
He mentioned a Scottish streamer. Didn't You've now given a go. Other streaming platforms are available that are in Scotland.
I don't think there's that many, Paul, to be honest. I don't think it was a big wide playing field to start off with. Oh no, tartan Netflix. I've got confused. Dorian's been in touch. Oh no, Jay's been in touch and says Brookside was a great show. I'm pleased it's being streamed. In the final episode, they killed their neighbour who had the same name or a similar name to the man who had axed the show, as a dig at the guy who'd cancelled the show, which is classic Brookside bants. A big shout out to my grandmother Doreen, who was a huge fan of the show, and that's from Jake from Govan. Jake from Govan, and hello Doreen, who loved Brookside. Doreen,
one for you, Doreen.
Would you be interested in a 5 to 10 year long podcast where Paul
I had
and
to do the maths where it was like, how many episodes of Brookside has there been? 2,915. And that's probably not even counting if there was any Brookside After Dark or specials.
Yeah,
because I'm
there
pretty
was.
sure there was a Barry Grant special.
Sexy Brookside.
Mm-hmm. Late night Brookside.
So if we did 5 episodes of Brookside to 1 episode of a podcast, 10 years we would be doing our new hit podcast. Hashtag The Close, featuring Ashley and Paul, and also guests from Brookside, because I have weirdly a load of Brookside connections, Paul. This could be a thing. Paul, back on the mic. Stop leaning back and holding your head with dismay. I think it's a good idea. What are your worries about our new podcast?
Time.
Other than the length.
I don't care what they say, because I think this particular streamer, not to be mentioned again, is going to show them, what is it, 5 a week or something? They're not committing to that in 10. They're not
This-
committing to this for 10 years.
Scottish television streamer. That's no, you mentioned my name. Dorian says 100 Kenny Rogers roasters for everything you do, Ashley and Paul. The movie tune I listen to is sometimes Beauty and the Beast, heard in the 1991 animated film's end credits as performed by Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion. I love it. Dorian, get on YouTube, other streamers are available, and look up when Angela Lansbury, Peebo Bryson and Celine Dion performed, all three of them at the Oscars, while a couple did an interpretive dance behind them. It is one of the greatest 90s moments of television. It's very good indeed. I hope you enjoy it.
Talking of the Oscars, what have you thought about the nominations this year?
I'm really happy that Data from the Goonies has been nominated for Best Actor in a Supporting Role. I'm really happy that Brendan Fraser has had a comeback and that we're all emotionally invested in this man having the best life possible.
Stay tuned, possibly more to come in a Hollywood Swinger.
I'm excited that Paul Mescal, aka the guy with the chain from that programme where they had a lot of sex on BBC, available in the iPlayer. Ordinary people, normal people.
Something like that.
I don't know, I just know there's 34.5 minutes of full-on sex in it. He's been nominated for an Oscar.
Were you counting?
Yes, he's been nominated for an Oscar.
How many times could they play Rhinestone Cowboy?
They didn't play Rhinestone Cowboy once, which is so confusing. But he's been nominated, which is really cool. Paul Mescal being nominated for an Oscar is amazing. Yeah, it's a great season. It's a great crop. It's lots of exciting people. I just want to know if the comedian hosting it is going to make jokes about Will Smith, because that was the defining moment of the Oscars last year.
I think making jokes about Will Smith and that slap is so passé when you catch me doing it. Anyway,
What's up next, Paul?
next up is our number 4 choice. This is one that is a particular favourite of mine. I love the film that it comes from. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. I love this actor. I love him in his serious roles. I love him in his comedic roles.
Yes.
It's John C. Reilly
Yep.
as Dewey Cox.
Hold on. Firstly, what's your favourite John C. Reilly film?
That's
Step Brothers.
tough. I love Step Brothers.
It's my favourite.
But he's also great in Talladega Nights.
I feel like me and you are very much Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly and Step Brothers energy. I think that's who we are as people in a film.
Yeah,
like
we
we
just become best friends.
We would try and build our own bunk beds and then hurt each other in the process. And we would become best friends, but don't touch my drum kit. So here is John C. Reilly singing Guilty as Charged. It says, I fainted the first day The Exorcist was on in Edinburgh. Does The Exorcist fill you? Does The Exorcist scare you, Paul?
Never seen it. I
Have
refuse
you?
to watch it.
Do you think it would be quite frightening?
Not anymore, probably, but I don't know why. It was when it came back out, then there was the talk of the curse of The Exorcist, and I was maybe like 15. I was just like, nope.
I don't find ghosty things or possession things scary. What I find, the things that really frighten me are scientists who sew people together. So like Human Centipede cried when I saw the
Things
trailer.
that can actually happen
Yes,
in real
things
life.
that could actually happen frighten
Like
me.
you could go to Eastern Europe and go to a hostel and then be kidnapped and put into pieces.
Yeah, no, but that film, they could have avoided a lot of trouble if they'd just been sensible, the film Hostel.
You can say that about a lot of movies.
Yes. In fact, that was one of the complaints we had about people in the cinema, was people who go and watch horror films and then think that the people in them can hear them. They're like, don't go in there. Don't do that.
I like that. That makes me laugh.
It gets me anxious because people do stupid stuff in horror films. Do you know what films didn't scare me in the slightest? Paranormal Activity.
That was so boring.
My friend turned round to me. There's a bit where the ghost drags the woman up the stairs backwards, and me and my friend are big. And she said to me, Ashley, that is one of my biggest fears. And I was like, mate, I don't think there's a ghost strong enough that could drag either of us up a flight of stairs backwards. I'm sorry to say that, my pal, but I think ghosts are notoriously weak. Get in touch via text 80295. Let us know what kind of scary film scares you. Are you scared of the ghosty films? Are you scared of the ghouly films? Are you scared of the possession films? Maybe it's the more weird cerebral films, like Midsommar. That really creepy film. My dad laughed his head off the whole way. He thought it was genuinely...
A lot of people were saying that, though.
thought it
that
was so funny.
It is almost a quasi comedy.
It is almost a wee bit comedic. We want to hear from you. You can also email us. What's the email, Paul?
AshleyStorieShow@bbc.co.uk.
On the subject of emails, we need to read out Jane Jones's message. Jane Jones says, "Hi Ashley and Paul, is the email still broke? No, we've got it here. Cine Vita at the Royal Theatre. Love that show. Got the original album and the London cast album. The film was guff. Sans Madonna, and with the original script, it may have worked, but they killed it stone dead," says Jane Jones. Jane Jones, I have to agree with you. I don't think Madonna was the right choice for Evita, but it is what it is. It did what it did. I'm glad that you've got in touch with us, and I'm sorry we didn't read out your message sooner, but we have been rambling and talking absolute nonsense, so it was hard to fit people in when we were talking about Brookside so much. Right, Paul? What's up next? Because it is another one of our Hollywood swingers. Number 3
in
our
the
top
pile.
10.
And this is where some people might say this is a controversial one. Someone on the internet tried to say that this should be disqualified.
Yes.
But it shouldn't, because we checked and they were an actor before they were a singer.
And therefore, they are a Hollywood swinger contender.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the one and only Bette Midler.
Bette Midler!
Now, it was between Bette Midler and Julie Andrews of who could take the spot of the person that's kind of known for their singing. But like Julie Andrews wasn't a performing like musical artist in terms of releasing loads of pop hits.
No.
She did release albums, but it's because she sang in her movies.
Whereas Bette Midler released pop hits.
But she also started out acting and on the stage.
And also we really respected her rise. She worked in like saunas where she did
Gay
cabaret
sauna, she would
shows.
work with her pianist or accompanist was a then unknown Barry Manilow.
Yeah. There's something magical about Bette Midler's rise that we think is a wee bit special.
She's not conventionally what Hollywood would put on the screen, and
Nope.
yet she managed to become, at one point in the 80s and 90s, one of the biggest leading ladies on the screen. And would
Indeed.
then knock out a variety show, and would then knock out a stage show, and would then knock out an album. If that's not swinging, tell me what is.
Here she is with the rose.
Some say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed. Some say love, it is a razor that leaves your soul to bleed. Some say love, it is a hunger, an endless aching need. I say love, it is a flower, and you, it's only seed. It's the heart afraid of breaking that never learns to dance. It's the dream afraid of waking that never takes the chance. It's the one who won't be taken, who cannot seem to give, and the soul
That was Bette Midler. Our Bet with a Rose. Martin and Orkney, John C. Riley says, that is it. That was my favourite. John C. Riley, guilty as charged. Yaldi. Was trying to remember who it was and what the song was. I literally only remembered it as that one that sounded like a funny Johnny Cash. It gets 100 roasters treatment again from me. Total candidate for King of the Swingers, up there with Richard Pryor, says Martin in Orkney. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for getting in touch, Martin, and thank you for sticking with us tonight in this weird King of the Swingers night. Kate and Sunny Open says, hello, I'm a bit late to join in, but I loved Brookside. Who didn't love Brookside? Kate and Sunny Open, would you listen to a 10-year long podcast where Paul and I dissect it episode by episode? Yes, you would. Get in touch and let us know. So, my favourite from a movie, says Margaret Forbes Blainfield. My favourite song from a movie is Maria from West Side Story. Oh, what I like Maria from West Side Story, but also I get very nervous because he goes so high in it. I haven't listened to I haven't heard the new West Side Story. Is he good at it?
I've not watched it either.
Targan.
Angle on. It's just noise.
Ergonokins.
It's lots of vowels. Angle or sort.
I know that the boy who plays Tony in the new West Side Story has a weird connection with West Side Story. Ansel Elgort. Am I close? It's Ansel. It is Ansel. Type it in. Ansel Elgort. Oh, yes, Ashley. Well done with your brain.
Ansel Elgort.
But he has a weird connection with West Side Story where he lived on the street where the original was filmed, and he had a picture of the man who wrote West Side Story on his wall when he was a little boy, and he thought that was his granddad, but it turned out his granddad had just photographed famous directors and stuff. So I'm assuming he must be good at it. Right, we need to move on because we've got so much to fit in, and we have to play this next song. It has been requested twice. Angel the Trucker has asked for it. Paul, are you going to play it?
It's in.
It's in. Here it is. It's John Tron. It's Olivia Newton-John. It is Summer Nights.